Come here, nephew. Let me put y'all on game when it comes to Dragon Ball's 21st Tenkaichi Budokai, aka the World Tournament, because it's absolutely nasty work, both figuratively and literally in the case of its opening match, and deserves to be remembered right up there with the best and most out-of-pocket battles in Z. We chopped it up about Krillin, Goku, and Yamcha making their way through the preliminaries in a previous vid, so if you missed that, make sure you go back and knock out your homework, because I promise it's worth it. They made light work of the NPCs and now found themselves standing toe to claw with the best the tournament has to offer. Monster Beast Girin, a wild animal who had his sights set on being the next big kaiju in the upcoming Gojira film, but found himself struggling to even get part-time roles in Super Sentai and came to the tournament to get his bands up. Nam, a warrior from the east hailing from a dying village, looking to literally and figuratively bring back some bread to his hometown while fighting off the hypnosis of Snow Bunny mind control. Speaking of which, also in the finals was the curvaceous Ran Fan. Known for the accuracy of her Ice Spice cosplay, either through pain or pleasure, she intends to bring the paper back home where she can independently rule as Queen of the Munches for time immemorial. Then there's the mysterious Jackie Chun, the resident unk who's much more likely to pull a hip than pull any punches. Some say he's family with the venerable Master Roshi, due to their similar fighting styles and their lethal hands not being the only thing they have to make sure to register each month. And round out the list of unfamiliar fighters is Bacterian, said to be the foulest man on planet Earth, with less collective bath time than a Smash Brothers local and more unvaccinated than a Joe Rogan podcast.
I'm very ugly, but you should enjoy the movie anyway.
Bacterian's very presence is enough to KO the strongest warrior, let alone when the giant amasses his Herculean strength against his unsuspecting opponents. And here is where our first round begins, when Big Krill enters the ring against Bacterian, looking to secure a win in his first ever scrap on the big stage. After some heartwarming words of motivation for the fighters by the canine leader of the nearby temple, Krill and Bacterian, with his formidable funk, stand across from one another ready to open up the finals. Announcer homie Big Jimmy starts the match, and immediately Krill is thrown off by the Discord mod's noxious fumes.
You guys, please keep the memes out of general. Anyway, so back to what we were talking about. So, yes, I do think that white people should say the N-word.
Even on the verge of passing out, though, the young goat is able to keep his senses about him and dodge Bacterian's initial onslaught and gain some precious space to collect himself. But the worst was far from over, because after Bacterian realized that a physical attack was ineffective, he moved on to biological warfare, opening his mouth and unleashing upon Krill the hottest breath the streets have seen since Bowser's neutral being smashed. We're talking a real two-pack of ass. Inside of his mouth smelled like two ogres clapping cheeks in the back of a Volvo. Krillin was stunned. But there's one thing Bacterian is not, it's merciful. While Krillin was knee-deep in Bacterian's scarlet rot, the man begins digging in his loincloth. On Kami almost gave up the ghost watching this myself. With every scratch, small unidentifiable scraps of filth came flying from the behemoth's crotch until he amassed the ball sweat necessary for his ultimate attack. For my Gundam fans in the audience, y'all might be familiar with Domon's Shining Finger and G Gundam, right? Well, I hate to be the messenger, but all that fella did was bite my man Bacterian here flow for flow, bar for bar, because the smelly finger attack is the real OG. By the time Krill realized why this grown man standing across from him had been digging in his gooch for the past 10 seconds, it was too late. While his finger may not have made contact, the aroma did. With an odor that could only be described as the scent of a haunted strip club, the young turtle hermit disciple lost his footing and passed out onto the floor. Shrek then proceeds to Krillin's remains and begins choking the life out of little cuz. Some stuff that would have had Homer Simpson reflecting on his relationship with Bart. Krill gets a nice kickoff and looks for somewhere, anywhere to escape to. He makes a mad dash between Bacterian's no-no square, but it's too late, as the full force of his unwashed booty hole falls directly on the Krillin's spine as he does his best Meg the Stallion impersonation and literally starts twerking the life out of our hero, just doing tricks on it. Couldn't be me, homies. And just when it appeared it couldn't get any worse, Bacterian spreads his cheeks and let out the most heinous line of gas Universe 7 has ever seen. Rumor has it that this is the way Blighttown formed in the Dark Souls canon. And from here, everyone, including Krillin himself, thought the fight was over. And as he prepared to go quietly into that good night, a single reminder from his new friend Goku managed to turn the tide. Krill, you're caught up in the Super Smash Bros. Domain, bro. This is straight genjutsu.
Whenever you walk down certain hallways around the Nintendo booth, there were smells that I could not associate with any other part of the show.
You don't have a nose, remember? Something within Krillin clicked, and suddenly he was back on his feet. Seeing the boy back on his feet brought Bacterian no joy, so he pulled out his ace in the hole, caving in his chest cavity to his limit and hurling machine gun loogies at Krillin. Man taught the boy everything he knows. Street used to call him Haley Welch the way he was out here spitting on that thing. But the months of Roshi's training paid dividends here, allowing Krill to definitely dodge the cesspools around the ring and not big Bacterian on his big back. With the tides turned in Bacterian days, Krillin knew the time to finish was now. So like Eren Yeager navigating a Titan, Krillin mounted Bacterian for the whole crowd to see, bared his cheeks and blew a nasty burst of wind directly on a Bacterian's nostrils, concluding the fight. And so ended the reign of terror of one of Satan's strongest soldiers. While poor Bacterian could certainly dish it out, he couldn't take it. And that was the end of round 1 of the 21st Martial Arts Tournament. But as bombastic as that opening was, round 2 was equally notable for the opposite reason, as a scrap that ended in a quick, surprisingly anticlimactic fashion. In this head-to-head, it was the homie Big Yams, possessed by the spirit of that dog, versus the mysterious Jackie Chun. Starting the match off, Bulma had every Red Pill podcaster out here taking notes, as she refused to beat the 304 allegations, waiting to see if Jackie Chun would be a young hottie with a bag on him, so she could trade in Yams for a proper upgrade. When Jackie Chun came out and was firmly representing for the unks in the audience, Bulma collected herself and decided she could stomach being monogamous for a little bit longer. Running through his mental archives, Yamcha recalled hearing at a function a few months back about an old dude who was blowing folks away with a mysterious technique that people couldn't understand. Deciding he wasn't about to wait for the old fellow to pull out the strap, he got himself together and took the initiative, hopping in as the aggressor and showing the old man why geezers need to stay out the club and let the young folks cook. Fortunately for him, though, it appeared Jackie may be actually that guy, weaving every punch and kick Big Yams was throwing, making him look extra weak in front of all the baddies in the crowd. What was even worse, though, was when mans like Jackie started lecturing on mid-hands being thrown, letting them know that while the audience may be getting gassed by his big flashy moves, real ones know that's all just smoke and mirrors, and he better be prepared to tighten all the way up if he's trying to get active in the ring with Big Jackie, he meant to say. But you already know how it is when you try to give these YNs some real talk. All I did was make little cuz Yamcha even more mad, and now he felt he had something to prove. Let me show this old ass man who the big dog on the yard really is, and knock that powdery ass toupee off his head. And so Yamcha locked in, turned on his DMX playlist, and in his AirPods allowed himself to be possessed by the spirit of that dog, unleashing a grade A Ruga Fufu can on that arrogant old man in front of him. Deciding it was time to teach the young bull a lesson for the culture, Big Chun hops out of the way, decides to get a quick aura farm in for the gram by hopping off the side of the tournament wall grounds, loads up just a touch of energy in his hands and sends Yamcha flying out the ring. In one move, and damn near in the blink of an eye, the battle was over, and one of the favorites just took a Wolf Fang L, leaving Goku, Krillin, Bulma, and the rest of the audience stunned. Yamcha, taking his L like a real one, walked up to the victor after the match and let him know he served him up a grade A ass whooping, and he can do nothing but give him props for that. But the OG was generous in defeat as well, letting Yamcha know that he's just a young bull, but given enough time, he's got the makings of a serious fighter himself. After the conversation with the old dude, Yamcha couldn't help but feel as though he had met Unk before, though. Had he ran his pockets in the desert before? Or maybe it was when he was running those phone call scams when he was freeloading at Capsule Corp. Or maybe, just maybe, the similarities between Big Man and Big Roshi were more than coincidence. Maybe Jackie Chun was actually cousins with Big Roshi. That had to be it. And here, with Yamcha doing his best to math the math, is where we'll call it. Tune in next time as we continue powering our way through the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament. In the next match, we have the ever-serious Nam, a disciplined young man from a remote village looking to get his pockets fat at the tournament so he can go back home and feed the fam, versus Ranfan, an eccentric femme fatale who is not opposed to using every tool within her feminine grasp to bring home the gold in the ring. Will Nam be able to keep his religion in the face of temptation? Will Ranfan be stripping him of more just his dignity in the ring? Only one way to find out. Be easy, y'all. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel or else Bacterion will pay a visit to your next family function. And I'll catch y'all in the next video.